Have you come to choir rehearsal?
and looking at church online is God is so much bigger than a building. And do I believe that the building should be open? No, because there are a lot of ministers and a lot of church members that have passed away because they were doing choir rehearsal. And it's
Black kids
sad.
call me a cracker, white kids call me a
frightens
beaner.
me.
Ate lunch and school alone
Been a
cause I
part of
didn't
Unlock
fit in with
for
either.
about
They
5
told me
years
that
now.
I can't rap. Did you
Lord.
forget your ethnicity? But looking back from now, they couldn't see what God had planned for me. Let me get it, let me put it down. One time for anybody out there following their dreams. Anybody in the city working 2 jobs so they can get to bigger, better things. You can't see that I was at a put in every day and night. Go to every trick or right, go to every bit of May just to hit them with the fade. When I stick it to the people that told me that I couldn't, yeah. After all of the years of young Mowgli wore a frown, I finally learned that it's okay that I'm not white or brown. And though the people looking sideways drive me crazy, you can't take my pride from me. I'm cool with the way God made me, yeah.
Welcome everybody, it's your boy AKJ coming to you live with another episode of Sunday Profiles. And this week we have one of my great friends and one of my great mentors who's seen me through the whole college experiences, and she is the CEO and motivational speaker, correct?
Yes.
Motivational speaker of Queen of Resilience, Miss Pamela A. Davis. Welcome
Hey, you make sure you put the A in there, right?
You gotta put the Pamela. You gotta say the whole Pamela and the A in there.
Right.
How are you today, Miss Pamela?
I am doing great. How are you, brother?
I'm all right. I'm just trying not to die from this COVID, and this coronavirus is going on. I'm just trying to save and stay out the way.
Yes, God is gonna keep us through this, so we just gotta trust in Him every day.
Oh yeah, you got to.
Thanks for helping me.
So how have you been, dealing with the COVID? Like what you been doing for the past month?
Right. I think for me, I'm taking it one day and one step at a time. I have been doing journaling, exercising, reading the word every day, praying, stretching, trying to reduce my anxiety throughout the whole process with this. So I'm taking it one day and one step at a time.
Okay. Has it, been tough? Like, has it been some days where you just like, you know what, like God, like when is this going to end?
Yes, it has been difficult. And I remember probably about a month or so ago, I said, God, when is everything going to become normal again? It's just really difficult. And He said it's time to live in the abnormal. And I definitely believe that it's time for us to strive and go to the next level, being in the abnormal, because we may not see normal again.
Mm-hmm. Was that did you mean by that like as in like life, or as in your purpose of moving forward with your vision?
I believe life and purpose both are moving forward in my vision. Yes.
That's powerful.
So we have to make sure that we are being in tune and listening to what He is telling us to do in this moment. Because if you're looking for purpose, you can find purpose in this moment. Some of us probably never thought of what we should do, and we are creating and being amazing during this thing called COVID. So.
So when I met you, Pam, you was heavily involved in church and ministry and stuff like that. What got you to that point where you wanted to join like the church and being involved in the community?
Right. So I basically kind of grew up in the church. My brother is a minister of music, so I really started going to church in middle school, and at that time I joined Fresh Start Bible Church, and the teaching there was just amazing. The foundation, he talked about a practical side and a spiritual side, and he knew how to mix those both together. So, and also with me, I think when I really got really serious about God is when I had my first anxiety attack on the campus of the University of Missouri, Columbia. So while I was going at Mizzou, my uncle passed away, and that's when I got serious. I thought I was serious before. I was going to church during high school and even before that, but it was, my mom being on dialysis and being sick throughout my life. I had to depend on something that was higher than me, and I depended on God.
When you got to come, when I met you in college, like what was your main motivation of, graduating and moving on to the next level?
My main motivation, I believe, at the time when I was at Harris State University, of course, to graduate, because sometimes at Harris State, you there more than 4 years. So, so definitely to graduate and go into a career in healthcare. When I first went to college as a freshman, I wanted to become a physician. So that did not happen. So I wanted a administrative side in healthcare. That was my goal, is to graduate and try to change the world through healthcare.
One thing that to my channel, I teach to my channel is like, especially when I was doing my podcast, I wanted to teach like, even people that, you see in public that you think have like no baggage or any like a past. And I share a couple of things about my life, my story on my channel. Like what was I wanted to bring people on my channel, to do the same thing, to share their past with us, to learn from it. And I told them about when I went through homelessness and on all the other stuff I went through in my life. And a lot of people didn't know that I was, they just thought there was something going on in my life, but they didn't know exactly what was exactly wrong. But when I shared with people, they was like, AJ, I never knew, like, I look up to you. So is there something in your life where people didn't know that you went through, and how did you make it through it?
I think with me, what people did not know what I went through is anxiety and depression. Mm-hmm. When I met you, I probably never told you that I struggle with, I probably did with you because we had some serious conversations.
Well, of course, yeah.
But I never told anyone, and I really struggled with anxiety and depression unless it was one-on-one. So I really didn't go as serious as public with that in 2016. And I think the reason why God is still allowing me to overcome that is through my faith in Him and seeking out those resources that I need, whether that's journaling, whether that's going to therapy. We know that mental health and therapy is a stigma in the Black community, but we have to take the initiative to become better. And sometimes becoming better is I need Jesus and a therapist. So that's how I began to overcome with anxiety and depression. I've always been a person determined, always been a go-getter, and I didn't want anything to stop me. So what can I do to become better? I fell in love with journaling. I fell in love with looking at different things from the inside and not always looking at the outside view.
So Queen Resilience, like what is that organization? Like what do you all do?
Right. So Queen of Resilience is an organization that's primarily for women. It's to teach them how to be resilient in every area of their life by first increasing mental health awareness, mentorship, and professional development. So our job is to go into the high schools, to go into the colleges and make mental health normal. And we make mental health normal by our program, which is called the Meet the Queen and Meet the King Empowerment Program. We launched it with Harris State University with their Upward Bound and Talent Search program last year. And that program is to teach students and give them the tools to become resilient mentally and professionally. We also have the QOR Tribe, which is a Facebook group, and that's for 21-year-olds and older. And that's just basically living out the mission. And that's what we really do. We also have Kingdom Resilience as a program up under Queen of Resilience as well.
Okay. So when you went to got to the University of Harris State University, I said it backwards, but what were some of the responses of of the students, the girls that you work with when you did
I believe it was just an amazing feeling. You know, sometimes when God gives us a vision, we're not sure. We're not sure if this is the right thing we're supposed to be doing. But the program that we did last year. And I believe that he really birthed that out of me. That had to be birthed. It had to take time. So when I saw the different, we brought in clinicians, and one of our therapists, we brought in Melissa Douglas from Goal Driven Counseling. And when she began to speak with the students, and she asked them, have you ever experienced anxiety? And when all of the students raised their hands, I'm like, we're doing the right thing. I knew just by that moment that this is what we're supposed to do, because we can't just talk about it anymore. We have to have programs out there for our students, and we have to be able to share the resources. And once we are healed, tell our story, and even tell our story while we're healing.
That's interesting. Tell your story while you're healing.
And it was just amazing, because when I spoke with some of the facilitators that was working with the young guys, the men, the young boys was opening up more than the women were. So on their first day, they started talking about all of the issues they are going through. So sometimes as men, they don't have that outlet. They don't have other strong male figures in their life to help them with that.
What's your definition of a toxic, manhood?
What's my definition of a toxic manhood? A person that don't know who they are, or don't know who they are called to be.
You think that spreads out the Black community, with the male and the female side of it?
I think it does, because sometimes when you allow yourself to be in places, for instance, where it's heavy in drugs, heavy in violence, you don't have anyone that's encouraging you. You don't have a strong mother figure or a strong father figure or even a mentor. It damages you. So you have to, that's when resilience comes into place. You have to find different outlets in order for you to overcome that.
That's interesting. Well, now that, with this COVID thing going on, like, how do you think this is like hurting like the mental health community with especially being sheltered in place and, not being able to go outside really, or you go outside, you die,
Right. I think it is hurting the mental health community, because a lot of us are living in fear. We are afraid, even for those of us that's in the Christian community. I'm not going to say that when I first heard about COVID, it did not frighten me, because it did. But then I had to come back into the place that, God, what do you say about fear? What is your overall view of fear? And I have to know that God has not given me the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. So I have to stand on that. Even if it takes me every day and every minute, I have to make sure I'm pouring into myself. So when it comes to the mental health community, people are hurting. They don't have any outlets. They don't have anybody to talk to. There are options that people are doing therapy virtually, but some people rather talk with someone face to face. Some people don't know they have mental illnesses or mental conditions. So they just living their life and they're going forth and they're functioning in their trauma.
And I think it becomes a part of their lives. Like with me, growing up, like I was talking to Joe Sides got home.
Mm-hmm.
He just did another episode, and
which was amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and he's been with me through the ups and the downs. He's seen everything with me, and I was just talking. He was talking about like what does a normal Joe look like? Like what does a normal agent look like? Like it just.
Yeah, I remember when you guys talked about that, because I looked at it and I'm like, I thought about it. What does a normal Pam look like? Mm-hmm. But I want to say that we are not called to be normal. We're called to be set apart. And with being set apart, people are going to call you misfits. People are going to call you different. But as long as you are doing the will of God and you are doing what He has called you to do, then let it happen. Let them call you those names.
Oh yeah, I'm being more and more comfortable being, an outsider to my community. But even though I do it not to be, purposely being an outsider, but it's just like I have like some issues. Like I can't, be around certain people because it's a trigger, and until like I know how to handle that trigger, I just choose like to stay away. But then like doing that, it hurts like relationships with people, and it can be like damaging in the long term. So that's why it's good to to talk to people, as you say, so that you can move forward and can, build up your confidence, and you can,
Yep.
deal with your triggers. So
I agree.
And I wanted to talk and ask you before we go about the Donald Trump saying that churches are essential for people to go, to service and worship. I wanted to get your, insight on that.
I'm laughing because, say that statement again.
The churches are essential. And
churches are essential. Our relationship with God is bigger and even more powerful. So I do not have to have a building to worship God in. Now, when the building opens, then I need to be in that building. But with going through COVID and what we are going through, no. Pam will be at home and worshiping God and singing and reading her scripture at home.
And come to choir rehearsal.
And looking at church online. God is so much bigger than a building. And do I believe that the building should be open? No. Because there are a lot of ministers and a lot of church members that have passed away because they were doing choir rehearsal. And it's sad. It frightens me.
I've been a part of the online community for about 5 years now. My Lord Jesus.
Right. We have to make sure that we are establishing our relationship with God. It first started home. Mm-hmm. It really does, and we have to make sure that we are doing what we need to do in order for us to be spiritual healthy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Ms. Pam, what is your final words to the AKJ world? And what is your final words of encouragement, or just a word?
I think with me is faith plus resilience equals power. So we have both of those two together. We believe in God and we believe that we are resilient, that we can overcome anything. Then we have to allow God to work within us. We have to know that resiliency starts when the answers are unknown, but we have to continue to push forward no matter if it's COVID, no matter if it's a traumatic experience, no matter if it's depression, anxiety, or even if you have dealt with molestation, that God is able to help you to overcome. But sometimes we need to look at the practical tools as well, and those tools can be therapy, and therapy is not illegal, or therapy should not be shamed, but it should be promoted.
It's a right.
Yeah, it's definitely all right.
Definitely right. Thank you, Pam, for joining us today. Where can we find you on the social media aspect?
Sure. So I am on Facebook as Pamela Davis. I'm also on Facebook as Queen of Resilience and Queen of Resilience on Instagram. And we just launched our new website about a couple of weeks ago. So you can go on www.qornow.com.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Pamela A. Davis.
Let me get it, let me put it down. One time for anybody out there following their dreams. Anybody in the city working through jobs so they can get to bigger, better things. You can't see that hours that I put in every day and night. Go to every trick or right, go to every bit of May just to hit them with the fade. When I stick it to the people that told me that I couldn't, yeah. After all of the years a young Mowgli wore a frown, I finally learned that it's okay that I'm not white or brown. And though the people looking sideways drive me crazy, you can't take my pride from me. I'm cool with the way God made me, yeah. But the way you react, I can tell that your hatred intact. You call me dirty, uneducated, illegal, and fat. Went to talk to Black Lives Matter, and I said Latinos do too. And they told me check your white privilege, boy, this is not about you.